Hello and welcome to Jessie Bear Book Club Vlogs. Today we are talking about something really exciting, which I've wanted to buy for so long and I always seen them at the airport. All about history! This is the December edition for 2020. It's got a beautiful picture of Cleopatra. That's one of the reasons I was enticed to buy it. The one for November had a picture of Thomas Cromwell on the cover, warts and all, and I was a bit like, he isn't that exciting. But this magazine, well, it's quite thick actually, maybe you could call it a book, lived up to expectations. When you open the magazine up, it starts with a lot of like, welcome to history, like it's got all the contents page, a couple of like little articles, but a lot of kind of big pictures and advertising. Of course, there is advertising. Can't get away from advertising, but it does open with this really cute Toys of the Ages page, which I really enjoyed. It's kind of like, did you ever watch The Toys That Made Us on Netflix? It's a bit like that. It takes you the whole way through. It's got this great timeline, and look at 1950s Barbie. Isn't she cute? I don't know, I wasn't really a Barbie girl, but I got a thing for 1950s Barbie because she just looks so sassy. Anyway, it's got this timeline, and then it's got, like Victorian dolls' houses, and these creepy little dolls that don't look like they have faces. Ugh, I don't like that. I don't know, dolls, like, creep me out a bit. And then, like, the history of toys, like the history of toy makers, where there's elves. And then this creepy-ass Annabelle-looking doll, which I really don't like. Nightmare fuel, Pandora's doll. I read a bit of this, like, I kind of skimmed it. It was interesting, but it was a lot of stuff that I already knew from watching, like, The Toys That Made Us. Goes on. Lego. Rubik's Cube. I've got one of those. When I was a kid, I had a Rubik's Cube. I was probably about 6. I took all the stickers off and, like, put them back on in, like, the right places. And then I showed it to my parents, and they thought I was a genius and bought me an ice cream to celebrate. And then I felt guilty and had to tell them I cheated. But then my dad was even prouder of the fact that I'd figured out how to cheat. Like, it's funny. Mr. Potato Head. I always wanted one of those. Oh, and they got Tracy's Island. That thing that, like, Blue Peter had everyone make. I'm too young to remember that, but I've seen it on television. More toys. Teddy bears. All the teddies. I had a friend that used to collect all the Harrods bears. They make those bears every year. She used to collect all of them. She still does, I think. We're the same age. I haven't seen her in a while. Anyway, continuing on. More stuff about toy museums. I went to a great toy museum in York. I think it was actually just an exhibition, but it was a really large exhibition. I'll see if I can find some photos. They're somewhere. I went with my mom. I visited her in York, and we had a little trip around all the museums, being nerdy, and it was really good. And there was all these Paddington bears, and I really like Paddington Bear. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Moving along, there's another advert, and then we get to the main body of the piece, Cleopatra, and oh, that art. Who doesn't love that art? I want to paint it. Oh, it's just so pretty. But this is actually a very interesting article that covers Cleopatra's early life. I knew pretty much all the information already because I'm a bit of a Cleopatra fan. But it's very interesting, and it goes into details that I didn't know about her father's will and how he said that if there was disputes among the family, Rome was to settle it. I didn't know that. And then it's got these representations of her through the ages, which are pretty good. Look at that one. She kind of looks like Medusa there. I think, I know the asp and her breast, or her ass and the asp. But, you get it. You get it. But it's really interesting. It doesn't go on to say what happened to her after Caesar died, unfortunately, which I was kind of hoping it would be a bit longer. Got some nice titties. But, it's good. It's got, The Secret Search for Cleopatra. That was a good documentary that was on Channel 4 about the woman who was, looking everywhere for Cleopatra, and she thought she'd found her tomb. I've seen something about her again recently on the BBC. I'll see if I can find the article and link it below. And then The Secrets of Soho. Doesn't that look nice? This article was kind of boring. All it did was name drop a lot of gangster names, celebrity names, but it did have some really amazing photos. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? I love her makeup and that outfit. It's something off RuPaul's Drag Race. And then you've got a picture of the Beatles down here watching a striptease. Like, it was okay. It was just very name droppy. Not really for me. But, you know, it's interesting. Look at this guy. He was a gangster called Spot. It kind of covers from, you know, like the 20s, the 1920s up to the 1970s in Soho. And this is what I really like. This was like learn Polarian. It was all the slang terms like the LGBTQ community used, like to hide themselves, which I thought was really cool. But apart from that, the article was a bit dry. Moving along to this very long-winded war article, which I literally skimmed. Like, I just was not interested in at all. You know, you do the First World War so much in school, and my dad and my stepdad are obsessed with the First and Second World War, so it was just like, I can't really be bothered. Had a quick look. On to the real meat of the article. Krampus! Look at him on the front. Look at him with his tongue out, like being all enticing, like, come on. But yeah, Krampus. This article was so good. I had my boyfriend read it to me. Like, I don't really know why I get him to read me stuff, but it was really, really interesting. I've always wanted to go to Krampusnacht in Austria. Like, I've seen loads of people's, like, vlogs. Black Friday did an amazing vlog when he went to Krampusnacht, and I really, really want to go. And I just think it's amazing, and it's got some incredible artwork, and it really tells the history of, like, Krampus's origins, and like how it was like stomped out by Christianity but always remained, and how they think he actually developed from like a horned god. It was really, really, really good. And then it also goes into like the Krampus legends that have sprung up in the last 100 years, and talks about like the awful Krampus movies that have come out. But look at these postcards. Like, there was Krampus Christmas cards, you know, like in the Victorian era and the Edwardian era. Like, aren't those amazing? And then it talks as well about the craftsmanship that goes into the new costumes that people wear. And I don't know, I just really loved this article. It taught me so much I didn't know, and it just made me like so invested in the whole Krampus thing even more. So like, look at those amazing photos. Like, I'm not a big Christmas person anyway, but like this article, it actually made me feel more Christmassy. And then after reading this, I had to go to work. It was my first day back at work after lockdown, and we all had to wear Christmas jumpers. And I do have a Gremlins Christmas jumper, but I didn't wear it. I wore like a normal one because I didn't want to stand out and be, you know, the weird person wearing like a Gremlins Christmas jumper. Moving along to the amazing story of Queen Victoria's goddaughter, Sarah Forbes Bonetta. I'd already read this story, well, not this exact article, but the story of this young woman in a BBC article a couple of weeks ago. But this was a much more detailed approach to the story. I really, really enjoyed it. And I thought it was really interesting how this young woman lived this quite strange, restricted Victorian life. It's just really interesting. Read the article. I can't even put into words how amazing it is. Worth reading, 100%. And then there's a few other things like the Silk Road, which, like, I had to study the Silk Road so much in uni because I did fashion and like the history of textiles, that like when I see the Silk Road, I literally like just turn the page. Can't be bothered with that because they talk about it incessantly if you do textiles in uni. There are also some shorter articles like the Siege of Malta, which was, you know, was interesting. It was more like, you know, about the battles and like the siege warfare and stuff. Like, I prefer the stories behind the siege warfare, but you know, I'm a girl, you know, if you're really interested in like military campaigns, like, check it out. Not a bad article. Then there is another short article about what the world would be like if the CIA had never been created, you know, and there's a few other short ones about like the Mayflower and things. But there is this brilliant recipe on the last page of this magazine that I really, really, really want to make for Lebkuchen. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's, you know, classic German gingerbread, and it's quite an easy recipe, I think, and I really want to try it. If I get it done before Christmas, I will record it and put up a little vlog. And then it gives you a couple of like good historical films to watch at the back, you know, the history of Hollywood. And like, it's all right. It recommends a few books. It is definitely 100% better than the BBC's history magazine, even though, you know, like, you just have to look at them, like, they definitely, even side by side, you kind of know this one's going to be better. There's a lot more work has gone into it, but that is reflected in the price. This magazine was £5.20, and this one was only £3. This was on offer. It is normally £5.20, but they're normally on offer because the second one and this one, last time I was up at the big Tesco's, they had the January issue out and it had another £3 sticker on it. But this one is more than worth the money. There was also the brilliant bit, the free gift, and we will get talking about that. You can go on, you use a little code inside the magazine, and you can get their online magazines, and you've got like 3 months, I think it is. You get like a backlog to read them. They are amazing. I'm going to show you some photos. So this is some of the photos. Like, I took some screenshots, but they also provide like wallpapers and things. But I just took some screenshots. Like, they've got the most amazing like family, God's sake, they got the most amazing family trees and stuff. I took a lot of screenshots. Like, that's meant to be Henry VII. You know, it's just amazing, like some of the artwork in these magazines. Like, isn't that like the nicest picture of Elizabeth I? I'm just like, oh, better, you know, Robert Dudley, you know. And then that's meant to be, I think that's meant to be Anne Boleyn, but I think it looks more like Jane Seymour. But some of the artwork in these, like, look at that Viking. Like, I just thought these were so cool that I had to screenshot them. That's Marco Polo. That is meant to be Richard the First. Yeah, the Lionheart. Richard the First, the Lionheart. Like, that is Isabella of Castile. Like, the artwork and the stories on these online subscriptions are so detailed and so amazing. I wish I could go into more detail, but you can't really describe it because you can only really get it online, and I couldn't screenshot everything, of course. But like, they're just so good. Like, look at Henry and Francis, the field of cloth of gold. So in short, this magazine is worth it if you're a big history nut and you love the person on the cover. Like, I don't know, it could be Julius Caesar, it could be Thomas Cromwell, it could be Oliver Cromwell, it could be literally anyone, it could be Charles II. Get it, because the articles inside are well worth reading and much better than the BBC's version. The BBC's version is still okay, but this one is where the party's at. If you like this video, remember you can like, comment and subscribe. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Lady Jessica Riddell. See you next time. Bye!